This podcast represents the opinions of Tyler Barber and his guests to the show. This podcast is not intended to be a substitute for the medical advice of a licensed counselor or physician. The listener should consult with a mental health professional in any matters relating to their health or the health of a child. This is the Mayo Lab Podcast with Tyler Barber.
Welcome back to the Mayo Lab Podcast for our second episode of Season 4. Today, we are here with Jax Mitchell. How are you doing, Jax?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So tell me, how did you get to Ole Miss?
I grew up an Ole Miss fan. I lived in Jackson until I was 10, and then my mom's family's from here, from Oxford, but neither of them went here. But I grew up coming to Ole Miss football games on Saturdays, but I didn't decide to come here because of that.
Mm-hmm.
I went to high school in Alabama, and then I really just was very open with my college search. I was a swimmer in high school, so I kind of had that on the plate. So I was like, maybe I want to swim in college. So those were some of my options. I was kind of a sweat in high school, so I was like, I want to go somewhere that's really like prestigious, and I applied places like that too. And then I didn't give Ole Miss a chance really, and my parents obviously wanted me to because I grew up, but I thought I knew exactly what Ole Miss was. I talk about this when I give campus tours and stuff, but I thought that Ole Miss was football, business majors, and fraternities. And those definitely those exist. That is here. But I never wanted to give it a chance. And I finally did. In like late February of my senior year, I finally came on a tour, and like a weekend after, like the next weekend, I committed. Like I was like, wow, I fell in love with it right there. Like a lot of people do on tours. So, I think it was good for me to explore around and like look at other options, but I definitely ended up where I need to be.
Gotcha.
And I'm glad I finally gave it a chance. That's what I always tell people. You just got to give it a chance.
Yeah, I mean, that's all it takes, man. And that seems to be everyone's kind of story that is kind of iffy about Ole Miss is they come on a tour. And that tour solidifies their decision, like always. It's like you said, the weekend after. Or I think Jack Walker said like the week, like that day, actually, he said he committed. So that's pretty cool, man. When you got to Ole Miss, when you actually got here, did you start as a freshman?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
So this is my fourth year.
Nice.
Yeah.
So like when you got here as a freshman, what like steps did you take, I guess, to kind of get involved around campus?
I started with, so I lived in Lucky Day, which I at first thought was going to be like a pretty outgoing dorm, but for me it really wasn't. So I kind of had to get out there and go. But I'm in the honors college, so I went to some honors college events that they had in Welcome Week, and I met some friends doing that. Met one of my best friends, Jack Walker, doing that. That was really fun. And then I did this program called FYE through ASB, where it's basically just freshmen meet once a week and they get introduced to other organizations on campus.
Yeah.
So I guess that was kind of the springboard to, like, I guess, getting out there, getting involved. And then one of my friends who I worked with freshman year, I was a swim coach with her. She was an orientation leader. And I remember seeing her, and she was actually my orientation leader, which was really cool. We grew up swimming together in Jackson, and I came for orientation, and it was her. And I was like, no way, this is so cool that the first person I see on campus after my tour is someone that I'm actually familiar with and I've spent years with. So that was really awesome. And I just looked at her Instagram and saw like how much fun the OLs had and all the stuff they were doing. And I was like, I want to do that. And I'm pretty sure like it was like, I think that interview process for that started like October of my freshman year.
Yeah.
And I remember I like name dropped her in my interview and they all smiled when I hit the mic.
No,
they all smiled when I mentioned her and I was like, okay, good. I'm glad I mentioned her. And yeah, looking back on it, the OL process can be pretty difficult to get through, can be very difficult position to get. So somehow little freshman Jax won them over and I got OL, and that was like my first big thing. And then became a senator second semester freshman year, and then it really all kind of snowballed on from there. But OL was like that big thing that really
Open the door.
Yeah, opened the door, put me out there,
Yeah.
got me meeting my people, and yeah, it was great.
Cool. And also, is the senator like a position there, or because when I think of senator, I'm thinking like the big deal.
Yeah, in DC.
Yeah.
No, it's the ASB, like Student Government Senate.
Okay.
And I ran for that like March of my freshman year, and I ended up doing that for 2 more years after that. So that was
Cool.
That was a really cool thing that I was able to do.
Yeah. And like, what kind of stuff did you do? Like,
it's like there's a lot of different. If I sat down and like explained like all the intricacies of it, it would take a while. But it's set up like how the United States government is set up.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's the Senate, there's the executive branch, like with the president, there's judicial, there's the treasury, there's all the things. And then Senate is in the legislative branch, and it's just a bunch of different committees. So I was on the infrastructure committee for 2 years. So like we focused on getting new crosswalks and making sure campus is ADA accessible and stuff like that. And then other campus like external affairs, like meets with the city government they got like the safe ride stuff set up with the buses that take you to and from campus on the weekends, or to the square and back on weekends. So yeah, Senate does a lot. So I was very proud to be on that for 2 years.
That's really cool. And starting off as a freshman doing that kind of stuff is pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's kind of like I feel like that's a very common thing for a lot of freshmen to do, and not a ton stick with it because it can be a lot, but I'm going to law school, so I kind of want to be in that world a little bit.
Yeah.
So I liked it, but I know it's not for everyone. But there's like, it's like you get to like run an election for yourself, which is pretty fun.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's a fun thing.
That's pretty cool. My girlfriend actually has a roommate that's going to law school right now, and those classes seem difficult, dude.
I am nervous.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not. I think I'm excited for the challenge. I don't know where I'm going yet, but I think I'm excited for the challenge. I took one class through the Honors College that kind of models a law school class a little bit, and it was like in the law school with a law school professor, and he scared us. Like we went in the deep end for sure. Like it was not a gentle introduction, but hopefully that helps me later on, that I was able to have that experience.
Yeah, definitely. And that building,
it's scary.
Yeah, that building is kind of intimidating. Like,
it is intimidating.
It's beautiful. I love it's really cool.
Yeah.
But you walk in and you just feel like you're in a different place. You know what I mean?
It's like dead silent. Everyone's got a 600-page book in front of them that they're reading, and
and like 8 out of the 9 doors are like locked. Like there's like 2 ways in, or there's 2 ways in, and the rest of the doors are locked for studying and stuff. Like it's crazy.
Yeah, I was like looking around. I was like, I feel like I'm not supposed to be here. And and if I hadn't had taken that class, I definitely should not have been in there. But
yeah, that's kind of my experience too. I went for a mental health first aid, like my second month on the job, and it was in the law building though. But and I knew I wasn't there for any law courses, but still walking in, I was like, I'm in the wrong place. There's no way we're having this here. And it was intimidating though.
Yeah, for sure.
And also when we talked back in November, you mentioned, I guess, like you had a surgery. Is that right?
Mm-hmm. I have scoliosis my entire life, where, for those who don't know, it's your spine is basically shaped like an S. Like something happens, and it doesn't form correctly. So the top angle, my spine looked like an S, and the top angle of it was a 70-degree angle, which is crazy that I was living. Yeah, it was literally like this.
Oh.
And yeah, so the surgery for that, I knew my entire life I was gonna have to have surgery for it at some point. But I wanted to swim, want to keep doing that, and that's obviously the way that the surgery works really prevents that from any point forward. So in June, when I got back from study abroad, which was a very nice welcome back, that I was going straight from Spain to the hospital. But it was on June 2nd, and the way they do it is they I really don't know. I'm not a doctor. I can't tell you exactly how to do it, but basically they fuse 2 metal rods to the sides of your spine and straighten it out.
Okay.
And it's a very long, very painful recovery process. For one of the surgeries. And so I had that one, and I was in the hospital for about a week. And for like a month after that, I was just, laying on my couch, not being able to sit up, barely moving at all, in a lot of pain for the whole thing. But things actually did not go according to plan. There was, like, without getting too much into the weeds of it, I got an infection and a loose screw at the same time. So I had to go back in and have a second surgery exactly a month after the first one. So they had to do the entire thing again, like clean out the infection and fix the screw. So they had, like, my spine was getting messed with again.
Yeah.
Then I was starting to get like nerve pain and then ended up having to have a third one like 2 weeks after that because like infection was still lingering and screw would not stay in place. That was like mid-July for the third one. Then the fourth one was the last or second to last weekend of July, I think. And that was like we're putting it into this. Like, this is going to be the last one. That was like they took everything out of my back and they put it all back in with new stuff and with like even more like reinforcements. So like from the top of my spine, like almost my neck all the way down to my hips is completely still. Like, it is not, like, I can't bend my back or anything.
Really?
And like that entire summer was just dedicated to that. And it's honestly a miracle that I was able to come back in August and go to class and drive around and stuff. That last surgery really did help, but that summer, it put me through a lot, like mentally, obviously physically. God bless my mother because she helped me throughout that entire summer. She's a teacher. She's not a nurse, but she did her absolute best helping me out. And that was awesome. But yeah, that's a big part of my story for sure. And even it was recent, but it taught me a lot about myself from beforehand and after for sure.
Definitely. I mean, you got to have a lot of perseverance to get through something like that. You said it was 4 surgeries?
4, yeah.
Man,
they're big ones.
Yeah. Back when I was in school, I was in middle school at the time, but we had a girl that had scoliosis as well, and her back, it was weird because her X-ray kind of became popular around school after it happened because, I mean, we were all young. We didn't know what was going on.
Yeah.
We just knew what a spine was supposed to look like.
Yeah.
And so we saw the X-ray, and it was, like you said, yours was like the S. And
Mm-hmm.
oh, my gosh. And then she disappeared for like a month. And then
That's what she did.
Yeah, she went and got it fixed. And I don't know. She didn't really talk too much about her, I guess, struggle with it. So it's kind of cool to hear somebody like talk about it and go more in depth with, I guess, how it was for them. Would you say that you weren't really prepared when you came back in school, like in August, for like, I guess, the mental part, because you were dealing physically all through the summer with struggles? Were you ready for school to start back in August, or were you kind of just wishing that you had more time to lay down?
It was weird. Like it was a weird feeling being back, and I was so grateful to be able to be. Because if I had had just one surgery, then I would have had like months of, I guess, physical therapy and stuff after that, and I would have had to keep checking back. But since I had 4, my doctor was really able to make sure that nothing was going to happen afterwards. And again, I cannot explain the science or anything, like explain why, but like afterwards, he was like, you don't need to do physical therapy. Once you're up walking, you'll be good. And then he cleared me actually to drive right before I got back to Oxford, which was like, that was only like 3 weeks after. I don't know how. I was scared that first time because like I was so stiff sitting up. But coming back, it was, I didn't really know how to feel, I guess, that entire summer. I mean, I was talking to people, sure, on the phone, but I was just so dedicated to like making sure that I was feeling okay. It was like I was off the grid for like 2.5 months. Like on text, call, seeing people in person. I had a few friends from home come and visit me in my house, which was very nice of them to speak to me while I was laying down and facing straight up. Like I couldn't even look at them. So that was very kind of them. But like I had not talked to anyone that entire summer basically. So coming back, and I was like, well, I don't want my senior year to be affected socially or, experience-wise by this. But like that first few months, I really did have to take it slow and just like let my body tell me what it's capable of doing. I was able to park in like handicap spots, so I didn't have to walk very much, which was nice. I couldn't carry a backpack or anything. But it definitely, I feel like after that summer and all the stuff I went through, just the stuff that I had to do after to cope with it, I was like, well, I can do anything now. Like
Yeah.
I was basically like, it felt like, not to get like, I guess graphic, but that pain, like with the recovery and stuff, like felt like someone was like drilling into my back at all times. And then like nerve pain feels like someone, I don't know if you've ever felt like had a pinched nerve or anything like that. Like it legitimately feels like someone like lit a match and is like holding it up to your skin. And that happened to me in like the back of my left leg for like a week after the first surgery, which was
Yeah, that doesn't sound fun.
but I think it helped me a lot this year, because this year's I've had to do a lot, like law school applications. I had 18 hours of class, 17 hours of class last semester, which was very difficult. On my thesis, I got all these things, and I had to really jump headfirst into it. I had to take the LSAT like a month after I got back to Oxford,
dude.
and I wasn't even able to study for the LSAT all summer because I was laying flat on my back, like barely even able to sit up.
Yeah.
So, but it really taught me like I can do anything, like, and like my faith really got me through this semester, and faith in myself and my creator, and just like I really felt like I could do anything this semester. I can't do everything physically, especially, but
you're a lot more confident in what you
like
can do.
If I had to say anything, I was besides being thankful for the fact that my spine is now straight and I am better from the surgery, the stuff that it's been able to motivate me to do outside of it has been something that I did not expect, and something that I'm very happy for, very grateful for.
Also, you mentioned, expectations not being met in college. Like, what were you talking about with that?
Yeah, something big, like throughout my 4 years has been, like, I've dealt with anxiety the entirety of the 4 years. Like, and not saying that there's like this, not saying I got it like all figured out and there's this like perfect solution to it, but college really can battle test you, and especially being involved and like kind of really wanting to do as much as possible.
Yeah,
it can really, it can challenge you for sure. Like it just feels like when I look back at college, every step of the way there was something that I was hoping I'd be able to do, and I didn't get it, and I was left, well, how do I go from here? I kind of put all my eggs into that one basket. On multiple occasions, like my freshman year or after my freshman year, I wanted to be an orientation coordinator. So I wanted to do orientation again the next year, and I didn't get it. And like some of my best friends did get it. And that was something that was really hard for me to do. And like I had to go that whole sophomore year thinking about that they were going to be able to do that the summer after sophomore year, and I wasn't. So I had to figure out something else to do. And so to cope with that, I was like, well, I want to go live in DC so bad. So I just like grasped for straws as much as possible, and I was like, I'm going to go get an internship in DC, and I found like one at the last second, and I went and did it, and I thought that that experience was going to be the coolest thing ever, and I was going to show people, look at me, I'm working in DC, I'm only 20 years old, look at me, it's so cool. And it was horrible. It was like one of not saying I'm not grateful for that time, but like I was living in a dorm by myself, and I was literally just going to work every single day, coming straight home. Had a few friends up there that I saw a few times, but that was a very isolating experience. That was not anything that I was hoping it would be, and I think that's because I was wanting to dictate my own path so much, and like my anxiety got the best of itself, and I was like, I need to do this. This is what's going to be the best for me. And it was not at all. And then I was met with that when I got back junior year, and I had really just spent the entire summer alone. Yeah. And I had to come back junior year, and I was like, whoa, I don't even think I realized like the magnitude of like, I was so anxious all of sophomore year. Like I had not been the person that I wanted to be. And I thank the Lord for my friends that had gotten me through that year. And I had not become the person I wanted to be. And I came back junior year, that same person, because that summer in DC was just like very destructive for me, honestly. Yeah. And I really just had to, like, the biggest thing that I've learned in college is, if an expectation is not met, that is not a closed door. That is just a redirection. There's going to be something for you along the way, and you cannot put your faith in what you think is right. You have to put your faith that whatever is going to happen next is meant for you. That whatever you go through is something that has an effect later on,
Yeah.
and you have to hold on and you have to be patient, and it's such a hard thing sometimes. And I really honestly think that the biggest thing that helped was that summer, like this past summer with the surgery,
Yeah.
because now I got through that. I can get through anything
Yeah.
personally. That was like, I was never at the risk of death or anything like that, but it felt like it sometimes.
Yeah.
And like, I was like, this is the absolute hardest thing I've ever done. Why am I having to go through this? And if I think that if I had not had that situation this past summer, and I had to go through this year of applications to law school and thesis and class, and like at the same time trying to do all the things for senior year, because
Yeah.
this is the last year of college and you want to do everything,
Mm-hmm.
I think I would have had an absolute like fall apart breakdown.
Yeah.
But knowing that college has brought me opportunities to be battle tested and to just make myself have faith that it's going to work out eventually,
Yeah.
even though I didn't realize that until really this year.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I look back on those rough experiences and closed doors in college with fondness, and I'm just grateful for all the redirections that I've had along the way,
Yeah.
and all the people that have helped me throughout, like, navigate all those situations, because I think that if I had gotten everything that I hoped or gotten everything that I wanted, I would not have opportunities to grow and to really have to figure out myself and like just really figure out who I wanted to be and what this life is going to have in store for me, really.
Yeah, no, I 1,000,000% agree too. I was talking to it wasn't Jack Walker, it was Jack Baker that I was talking to a couple of weeks ago about this, because it's like the phrase "no pain, no gain." Like you hear it all the time in the gym, and
Yes.
you just take it at face value, and you're just thinking about muscles, but really, it applies to everything.
Exactly.
You know, like whenever you go through something, you're going to grow from it, and normally. 9 times out of 10, at least in my experience, you look back on those moments and you're happy that they happened because now you're here and now you have experience with that. Like I'm kind of envious a little bit about like that situation of like when you were interviewing for that stuff freshman year and you were going through that entire process and kind of getting taught that you don't get everything that you want all the time and you learn how to deal with it, because it kind of hit me like a truck after I graduated last May when I was on a job search. And I was interviewing left and right for places, and every single time I thought I killed the interview. I really did, and I was like, I got this job. And I kept doing that and putting all my eggs in one basket. And then like 9 times out of 10, like with the interview process, you would get that email back saying like, well, you decided to go somewhere else. And then you're right back to ground zero, and you're sitting there, you feel defeated almost. And it's really cool that you kind of got to experience that while you were in college, because I think it prepares people at least way better than graduating and then learning that lesson.
Yeah, I think Ole Miss, with our involvement culture being so good, at the time it can seem rough at times, because with involvement culture comes being told no.
Yeah.
And for a lot of people. And I think that while you're in it, you're like, oh, I can't do this. Like, I don't like all these no's. But it's taken a lot for me and a lot of time and last semester of college to realize that that's a good thing. And it's good. Like, Ole Miss is great for having all of those opportunities to where you can then be redirected to something even better.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's hard to say that, like, how can I say that I like that Ole Miss has opportunities where you can get rejected from something, but I don't see it as rejection anymore. When I did when I was getting the rejections sophomore, junior year. So yeah.
It's like that phrase. How does it go? It's like when one door closes, another one opens, like that kind of thing.
Exactly.
It's a good way to look at life. It really is.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's good that, like, I feel like these lessons are good now because we got a whole lot of life ahead of us. So hopefully, it's something that, unfortunate at the time, but just keep the faith, and the greater, more beautiful door will open for you, even though you can't see it at the first time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you coming out today and being on the episode, man. I really do.
Well, I appreciate y'all having me. I'm just glad that this conversation was great, and I'm honored that y'all even saw something in me to speak about. So, man, I really appreciate it. And what y'all are doing is great. Yeah,
Thank
really,
you.
truly.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
And stay tuned for the research report. Thank you so much for listening to the Mayo Lab podcast. We appreciate you spending time with us and being a part of the conversation. I'm Tyler Barber, and if you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe and share with a friend. Until next time, keep the conversation going.